Hello and welcome to Focus On. You're with me, Narengwa Fiona Mothoni. The 5th annual Africa Shared Value Leadership Summit happened on the 8th and 9th of November. But crucial conversations are still happening to support and encourage entrepreneurs on the journey to inclusive value creation. Joining us for this conversation today on the line, we have Titilope Oguntuga, the head of Sustainable Development and Corporate Brand at Lafarge Africa PLC in Nigeria. Now, Titilope, it's great having you on the call today with us. Just to create space for this conversation, how crucial is it, when we're talking about achieving gender equality, how important is it to the sustainable development of the continent?
I believe that women form a vital, part of the society. And when we are talking about sustainable development, we cannot, talk about it without highlighting the economic, social, and environmental impacts. Now, women are quite crucial because they contribute immensely to the society, and we have quite a number of statistics to show that. One of the ones that I'd like to reference is an International Labour Organization survey in 2019 that revealed that out of 13,000 organizations that were consulted, an average increase of 15% profits was recorded in the year under review. And that shows to highlight how crucial women are to the society. Now, with this 15% increase that I mentioned, those organizations were led by women. And it shows to us that when women are at the helm of affairs, women bring immeasurable value, not only to the family, but to the society and to vital economic and national development indicators.
Yeah, and Titilope, how do you think we should engage, plan and budget towards interventions aimed at economic and social recovery in ways that advance gender equality as well as women's empowerment?
In terms of budgeting and planning, first is that a horizontal approach is required. And what I mean by a horizontal approach is top, bottom, bottom up, and right across. And this is important because it helps us to enlist a multi-stakeholder relationship in developing all of these plans. Now, it is crucial for all stakeholders to have their hands on deck, because that is the only way that we can have strategic initiatives, policies, and blueprints, as I would always recommend, to enable us achieve our targets. One of the things that I find most critical and that we are not paying enough attention to is that we have national economic agendas, we have national economic roadmaps, we have national economic blueprints. It is high time that we began in Africa to begin to consider a national gender blueprint. I believe that this will set the solid foundation for us all to begin to have the right conversations around gender diversity and inclusion and how we can all partner to ensure that we improve our performance indicators along these lines.
And we've seen that there are efforts that have actually been made, but nonetheless, the public sector cannot do it alone because we need support from the private sector. What role do you think the private sector has to play?
Deal with gender diversity issues. And that sets the tone for how government would also address some of these issues.
Sorry, your internet froze there for a minute. I'm going to re-ask the question and you can just start from the top.
Yes.
Yes. What role do you see the private sector playing? I mean, do we need their support? And how far can the public sector go?
The private sector has a very crucial role to play. And one of the things that I believe that the private sector can do is first to serve as role models. How should organizations, for example, deal with gender diversity and inclusion issues? I believe that as role models, we can tell better stories, we can show better examples, and we can, continue to show to the society that there is something that is pressing, that is urgent, that needs to be dealt with, and we are blazing the trail in this regard. One other thing that I think that the private sector can do is to support policy advocacy for gender diversity and equality, inclusion. And that is one of the ways that I think that the gender gap can be bridged. Of course, there are initiatives like supplier diversity programs that private sector organizations can employ to ensure that we are also upscaling and supporting women, such as women who run micro, small, and medium scale enterprises. In terms of our marketing, products, services, and all, I also believe that the private sector has a very crucial role to play in subtly infusing some of these things into our marketing campaigns, our communication campaigns, our products and our solutions campaigns.
Yes, Titilope, just help us, draw us a picture. Where are we presently when we're talking about gender equality? What needs to be done? What challenges are still there presently?
Well, the picture is not going to be a very pleasant one, but I think that it is a journey that is in progress. Organizations are doing quite a lot in terms of policy and strategic initiatives. So, for example, quite a number of private organizations have policies that support the women in terms of child support, child care, expanded maternity leave, and a few other things. Quite frankly, it is a journey that is in progress. I think that the private sector can do a whole lot more in terms of bridging that gender gap by creating systems and structures that support women to be able to voice out a lot more. One practical example that I'd like to share is the issue of gender-based violence. And with gender-based violence, for example, I do not know how many organizations encourage their women to come to the office to report those issues. And we know that, quite a number of gender-based violence issues are not even recordable. So how do we now, bring everybody together to help solve these issues? One is we need a reorientation, from society to society. We need to project the narrative that the woman is a vital contribution to the society, and that impact can not only be felt only in domestic affairs, but in economic, social, and even environmental situations. One of the other things that I think that we can do is we have quite a number of existing platforms, women initiatives, women mentoring programs. We need to bring more women on board. We need to enlist more women to tell their own stories, which serves as a stronghold or an encouragement for women, to dare to begin to do, very audacious things. And I also believe that as men, it's important that we're also having the right conversations from our homes to, all the places that we have conversations, offices, meeting places, social gatherings, and we just continue to project that narrative in a manner that we are reorientating the society, and there's a gradual shift from how we see women to what women should be as major contributors to the society.
Yeah, the gender disparities in our societies are clear, and they actually do demonstrate the need for change and for institutional change in that matter. Then what should leaders be doing? Why aren't leaders, why isn't there change that is being seen? Or when you look at the private sectors, should we say that it's maybe because the private sector is very much still dominated by a patriarchal business community?
Well, with a patriarchal business community, that is what has always been. But I think that quite a number of organizations are making that gradual shift. It's a journey in progress. It's going to be continuous, but we need to continue to tell and share some of those things a lot more. For the men, there are societal issues. I would like them to call them societal issues or concerns. So, for example, cultural issues that men have been, they have been used to. And they bring some of those things into the workplace. Now, I know that quite a number of organizations are doing quite a lot to bridge that gap. So, for example, equal pay opportunities and, quite a number of other policies that support same. But, with men, at men's forums, at men gatherings, I think that this is one of the things that should be on the front burner. Because again, the society is not just made up of one gender. There are two major genders in the society, and we just must continue to ensure that irrespective of where we are at, in the community, at the workplace, in religious places, we are giving the women a voice. We are enabling them and supporting them and cheering them on. And we are not, serving as hindrances to their progresses and to the things or the milestones that they can achieve.
Yeah, would you share experiences and insights from your professional experience as to what is needed to make a mark on GBV as well as even the gender disparities present?
Well, the insights I'd like to share will be around, how we infuse, the private life with the work life or the professional life. I mentioned earlier that I do not know of, many organizations who encourage their women, to report gender-based violence cases, for example. So what can we do, especially in the private sector? Also, going back to my earlier statement where I said we in the private sector can serve as role models. The first is, we need to create that enabling environment, that atmosphere that encourages women to see the connection between their private life and their professional life. And you will agree with me to some extent that, how people fare in their private lives have an impact on their productivity at work. Now, with that understanding, what can organizations do? One is to have an employee and assistance program that enables women to come share some of their personal issues and seek professional help where required or where possible. The second is many organizations are doing quite a lot of work around whistleblowing. So you have a system like a whistleblowing system where people can anonymously share some of their things that they've seen and all of that. I think that, with gender-based violence, that is one practice that we can adapt and encourage women to also use for their personal safety and to be able to, get them away from being victims of gender-based violence.
Okay, thank you so much for creating time to speak to us. That was a conversation with Titilope Oguntuga, the head of Sustainable Development and Corporate Brand at Lafarge Africa PLC in Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching A Focus On with myself, Narengwa Fiona Muthoni.